All right, Wake Forest can't win. Duke wins all the time. Basketball. But as we bring in Conor O'Neill, Devils Illustrated right now, I do want to start with the locker room dynamic in football. We don't know how this is going to play out legally, but if Darien Mensah, sir, decides that, you know what, this is not worth it, I'd like to return to Duke, I would just ask you, how does that happen?
With a hell of a mea culpa. I mean, I don't see any other way. And maybe there's a 0.5% chance that even enters the equation here. I mean, he's gone. He does not want to play for Duke. He wants to play for Miami. I don't even know if you can call it the worst kept secret in college football that he's bound for Miami, because Miami's literally the only program without a starting quarterback lined up next year that would be paying for a quarterback of his caliber.
Right.
And then you throw in the fact that, you know, in the off-season weight program, they show up on Saturday mornings and lift at Duke. And on Saturday morning, there was a post from the strength and conditioning coach, David Feely, of a team picture. And I didn't go through and count the faces in the picture, but there were quite a lot of college football players posing in it. And it was quote tweeted a couple times by players that, you know, one of them, I think Nick Morris Jr. was the one who said it's indestructible culture. So it gives you a little bit of a peek into it. I mean, we're not going to get any of those players on the record to tell us,
right,
yeah, we hate that guy, we can't wait to play him in South Beach in October, November next year.
Yep.
But you get the feeling of how they feel about what went down in the last 4 or 5 days.
Conor O'Neill, right now, Devils Illustrated, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So when the news hit, and there were all sorts of rumors about Duke, you know, scouring the portal, trying to see if they could secure a quarterback, I thought at that point they might just say, all right, we'll deal with the legalities of this and whatever like buyout we can negotiate with Mensah, because there clearly was a contract and there is a contract, and this is going to be a financial hit to Mensah. My guess is when it's all said and done, that Duke was just going to move on to another quarterback. But when you just said that Miami is the only team without a viable starting quarterback, I think you could put Duke in that category now too. What does Duke do at that position?
Yeah, I mean, we make the jokes like, Adam, do you have eligibility? I mean, I'm
no.
Sitting here like the 8-year-old kid from those old Cam Newton commercials. I'm just warming up my arm.
Right.
I mean, I don't know where they go. If you look at who's available in the transfer portal, it is slim pickings. There's like a San Jose State quarterback in there. The blast from the past name is Jaden Rashada,
okay,
who had the huge NIL case as a high school recruit and like bounced to 2 or 3 places before he even took a college snap, I think. They were unable to get DJ Lagway at the 11th hour and 59th minute, basically, from his commitment to Baylor. It just, you know, there's a Western Carolina quarterback out there, Teron Dickens, who is electric, but he's also short and a runner, and he was at Western Carolina. And I don't mean to disparage that university, even though they were a Southern Conference rival of Elon when I was at Phoenix. But I don't see how you go from Western Carolina to Duke academically. And so,
okay, that's a good point.
I don't know what this looks like at quarterback for Duke next year. I know it's not going to be Darien Mensah. I guess at this point, you just have to say they have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. None of them are pop off the page options to be a starting quarterback for an ACC football team, but those are their options right now.
Right. It'll probably be one of those. By the way, Brad Hoover University, a very proud football factory. Conor O'Neill, _DI on Twitter. All right, we'll get back to Real quick, one more thing. Is there a sense, because you may have alluded to this already, is there a sense that the players are, regardless of what it means to the football, that they're cool with Mensah out?
I don't think so. Look, this is a team that was built around repeating as ACC champs and not being 1-3 in the non-con again and playing for the CFP. Like, you kind of lose track of, okay, if this team actually beats Illinois and doesn't shoot itself in the foot 18 times in that game, or if this team actually plays semi-decent defense in the first half at Tulane, they might be a CFP team as an ACC champ, and we might not be talking about Miami being the runner-up. So all of what Duke did in 2 weeks while the transfer portal was open was built around having a star quarterback returning and putting pieces around him to be able to not only win 9 games and squeak into the ACC championship on a tiebreaker crazy scenario. It was to have a dominant season and maybe the best season of Duke football ever, at least in the modern era. And you never want to say that one guy is more important than the entire team, but that one guy is the most important part of the entire team. I don't think anybody's arguing that about the quarterback position in college football in 2026. Right.
Yeah, this is it'll be a test for them. The schedule is not easy. They have 5 road games and just 4 games at home, but their road schedule is no joke next year. Conor O'Neill. All right, let me now you're Deacon's Illustrated.
Okay.
What is getting in the way of their basketball team they played some great games early in the season in the non-conference and lost by 1. The game at Michigan could have easily been a win. I know they had a lead late in that one, didn't win. They nearly beat Texas Tech. They are really laboring to win games. What is going on there? They're
undersized. They've been out-rebounded in each of the last 4 games, and the combined margin is 53. It's really hard when you get out-rebounded by 10+, when you let the other team shoot 50% on threes. I mean, SMU was 14 of 28 last night. The only team that's made more threes against Wake this year was Vanderbilt in their evisceration of them right before Christmas. They're struggling. And last night's revelation was they had an awful practice on Monday, and they showed up and pretty much played exactly how they practiced against SMU. And SMU's not a team that you just walk out there and play a C+ game and win. I mean, they have legitimate star power in their backcourt. It starts with obviously Boopy Miller, and BJ Edwards and Jaron Pierre are really good scorers too. So SMU's decent. It's not, last night was not the Wake game that you look at and say this should have been a win. Right. It was a toss-up going in, and Wake played a poor game, and SMU played a decent game. Wake's front court is just struggling. Their point guard play, I mean, they'd been getting over 22 points a game from Nate Calmise the last 4, and he had 4 points last night. So inconsistencies, it's a struggle right now. It's not going to get any better on Saturday, I don't think, at Cameron. Unless the snow comes and moves it up to Friday night or cancels it. No, I mean, look, I obviously am very familiar with both of these teams. I know how they match up better than I know any other matchups in the ACC. And I mean, Wake has to find some way to keep Cameron Boozer and Pat Gongba from just completely dictating everything about that game. Conor O'Neill is joining us here. Back to Devils Illustrated. The Wake, Duke's trip to California was pretty impressive. It's funny. It was, you think Cal's not that good. Stanford is a borderline tournament team, but I think they've got some very good players. At least I watched the Carolina game at Stanford, and I came away very impressed by the Cardinal. Duke just laid waste to both teams. I mean, they were so much better. And they didn't even
to me, they still haven't even played. I thought they played better maybe a month ago than they are right now. Because they're not getting consistent play from whether it's Dame Sarr or Nick Himenia, although Himenia has, I think, given them some good moments lately. Duke gets sporadic, consistent play at point guard. But, man, Boozer is just that good. Where sometimes it doesn't matter because he's a machine. What are your thoughts on what they have been, what they are? Not necessarily as we head to Saturday, but just where they are right now.
It's funny how much a week can change the perspective of a team in the ACC, I guess, because a week ago I would have told you Duke was trending in the wrong direction.
Right.
I mean, they did not look great since, you could say, the Texas Tech game. They were up 17 points in the second half of that game.
Right.
It was really just 15 minutes that they looked terrible against Texas Tech. Yep. And then it was 4 ACC games. And it was 4 ACC games that they won by a combined 28 points. Then they go out west, and you're thinking, okay, on the road, only one other men's team has gone out to California in the last year and a half and swept, and ironically, it's Wake Forest last year. This does not add up. Like, it looks like Duke is not going to come back from the West Coast with an unblemished ACC record, and they played an okay first half against Cal, and then the last 3 halves they played out there were just pedal to the metal domination. And it's, I go back to last week's teleconference asking John Shire kind of, what's the deal with this team's defense? And he basically said they're not playing as connected and consistently as they were. And it's like, well, why are they not playing the same way that they were playing in November and into December? And it's just basically, you have to elevate. You can't stay the same month to month in college basketball, or you plateau in November, and it's a problem because you're going to get beat. Teams scout you. They figure out what you're not good at and what you're uncomfortable doing, and they put you in those situations. But then you fast forward to what they looked like last week, and it's like, oh, so Dame Sarr can completely take Ibuka Okori out of a game.
Yep.
And he can have 36 and 9 against Carolina, and he has 9 points on 9 shots, 1 assist, and 4 turnovers when he has a 6'8", 190-pound Italian wrapped around him for the entire game. So it's really interesting to me how quickly the perspective can change. I think Duke did absolutely turn the corner last week with how connected they played defensively, especially. And then, I mean, good God, we cannot take for granted the consistency and the domination of Cam Boozer. And he just goes out there every night and scores 25 points in an efficient manner and gives you somewhere between 8 and 15 rebounds. And he's going to get his hands on some balls for blocks and steals. And just incredible.
Yeah, he is. He's an incredible player. They've got good depth, not great depth. I think their key to their whole season is Caleb Foster. If Foster can, but I've been saying this. I said this about Tyrese Proctor for the last 2 years. If Foster plays to his capabilities, then I think Duke is excellent. I don't know that they can win a national championship, but might not have to beat some of those other teams. Depends on what the bracket does, but to me, he's the key. But they've got some incredible pieces, and Cam Boozer is definitely one of them. Conor O'Neill, Devils Illustrated, Deacons Illustrated, at Conor O'Neill _DI. Sir, appreciate it. Brace yourself for the great toilet paper shortage of 2026.
Yeah, I know in North Carolina, everybody, the milk is probably going to be all gone by tomorrow.
It's all right. We bought a cow, so we're just going to use that. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Peace.